A band of men called the Langabards rally behind Albion. They march south, leaving their homeland to carve a new destiny in Italy. 568 CE, crossing the Alps. The Langobards enter northern Italy, founding their kingdom. Their name, meaning long beards, becomes their proud identity. 9th to 10th century generations later, the Langobards evolve into barons, landowners and nobles, ruling estates and vineyards. 11th century France. The barons dominate the land, but lack a code to unite them. Power is unchecked, waiting for structure. Solomon bar Isaac, known as Rashi, a French commentator born in Troy in 1040. 1085, at the age 45, establishes the barons' code through his book, The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Shortly after, he authors Sefer HaYashar. In the 11th century Italy, Lombard barons introduce note banking, replacing royal coin. Kings grow angry and preach against them. In the year 1096 to 1099 CE, waves of crusaders leave Europe, heading to northeast Africa to help fight off the Turks. In 1099, another group came out among them. Godfrey of Bouillon rises, funded by Rashi's wealth and baronial support. Year 1099 CE, Godfrey's forces capture Jerusalem. Soldiers hail him as God. This conquest marks a turning point for the so-called Holy Land. Year 1119 CE, knights form a brotherhood, the Templars. They build their temple on Rashi's teachings, guarded by the protocols. Year 1128 CE. The Templars receive their Red Cross insignia. Their order spreads across Europe, preserving Rashi's codes and preceptories. Jacob ben Meir, born in Ramarupt in 1100, was the grandson of Rashi. In the year 1140 CE, he expands on his grandfather's works. His ballet writings introduce Yahweh, transformed from Baal. Moses Maimonides, also known as Rambam, was born in Spain in 1138. In the year 1168 CE, he compiles Rashi and Meir's works. Later it forms into what's known as the Pentateuch, or the first 5 books of Moses. But Moses who? In the year 1190 CE, Rambam writes Guide to the Perplexed. It explains the meaning of his Pentateuch, helping readers understand the new writings. In the 4th century, literary works and authors create pseudo-Hegesippus, a fabrication of early histories, pretending to record ancient wars. His works later appear as foundations of scripture. 10th century CE, Josephon creates so-called Jewish history. This forgery reinforces the illusion of antiquity, preparing groundwork for later scholars. In the 12th century, the Aleppo Codex, called Keter Aram Tsova, appears. Branded as ancient, it was a medieval manuscript posing as ancient sacred scripture. In the 12th century, the Knights Templar students forged scrolls in their preceptories. They teach and copy texts, sustaining the codes of Rashi and Meir, the grandchild of Solomon bar Isaac. By the 12th century, in Jerusalem, the Templars dedicate their headquarters as the Temple of Solomon, honoring Rashi as the financier of their order. In the 12th century, from their secret schools, the Templars spread Rashi's baron codes. The knights fully adopt them, weaving taxation laws into their rule, in the so-called Holy Land. In the 12th century, the Templars pay a dhimmi taxes to the Turks from 1118 to 1291 to remain in Jerusalem. Order and mutual understanding came by tribute. Inside the preceptories, knights develop secret signals and coded speech, early tools of ritual secrecy that later shaped secret orders. By the 12th century, the Templars, often called the French Templars, build their order on Rashi's protocols, turning his work into law for the elite and rule over commoners. In the 12th century, these baronial codes later appear in the Talmud, and later the Sefer HaTorah, books of the Upright One. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, along with Moses, Laws for taxation and control are reframed as divine commands from above. 10th to 11th century, men in Italy learned masonry from the blackamoors. This helped the men turned. Templars learn masonry. Stone by stone, they build fortresses and carry forward hidden structures of law. By the 12th to 13th century, the Templars spread across Europe, multiplying preceptories. Each site preserves texts, trains knights, and strengthens the hidden order. In the 12th to 13th century, secrecy binds the knights. Handshakes, oaths, and ritual signs create loyalty, guarding the codes they protect. By the 12th to 13th century, from this hidden network, later orders draw inspiration. The Templars establish the pattern of European secret societies. In 1140, Jacob ben Meir, a French Tosafist writer, continues his grandfather's work. His ballet writings reshape names of forefathers, later used in biblical stories. In 1140, in his texts, Baal becomes Lord or Master. Meir transforms common titles into sacred names, creating the figure of Yahweh for his writings, which were later used by Moses Maimon by his own volition. By the 12th century, Meir's writings guide Rambam. From their works, he crafts scripture, presenting man-made laws as divine revelation. Staying busy in 1168 to 1180, Maimon, known as Rambam, finalizes the Pentateuch. The 5 books of Moses, built on Rashi and Jacob ben Meir Tosafot literature, became the Old Testament's core. In 1190, Rambam authors Guide to the Perplexed, teaching elites how to read the Torah's abstractions. Scripture required explanation, not inspiration. 1204, Rambam dies. His works live on in Templar vaults and preceptories, later regarded as scripture and passed across Europe. In the late 1400s, manuscripts filled Templar desk. Generations of writings meant for a certain group became divine writings sent down from above, waiting for the invention of the printing press. In 1437, Johann Gutenberg builds a printing press, unable to pay his debt, has it confiscated by a capitalist Johann Fust. Fust later gathers the scattered texts, prepares them for the printing press, giving the writings of Maimonides new permanence. It's now 1475 in Bologna, Italy. The first so-called Hebrew Bible, or the 42 lines, is printed, but in Greek letters. Medieval documents constructed and now called ancient scriptures. Scholars celebrate the book as timeless. Few ask where its names and laws truly came from. The life and times of Rashi, Jacob ben Meir, and Rambam are mythologized, hidden and absorbed into Christendom. Their stories and codes are mistaken for divine law. The Old Testament is complete, born of baronial writings, Templar secrecy, and the press that sealed them as sacred. What began as protocols, stories, and codes became scripture. The Baron's law was reborn as eternal word, reshaping history. Like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for part 2 of Secular Bible History of the New Testament.